So this is definitely going to be a huge final 22 seconds because you can see Norristown going into the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead. That's best case scenario. Or it could be a 6-point lead. That would be worst case scenario. Right now it's an 8-point game. 43-35, Eagles on top. The teams break the huddles, come back out onto the floor. I expect the Eagles to come out with their best possible offensive lineup, whatever that may be. You may even see Hinton come back into the game. But they elect to leave her on the bench with her 3 fouls. Hopefully we'll see her play the majority of the fourth quarter. Harris inbounds to Wise. The pass a little strong. Wise pulls it in, though. No reason to hurry here. The Eagles with 15 seconds. They want to use as much of the clock as possible. Instead, Wise just puts up a shot. Doesn't go. I don't know if that's what Harrison was drawing up because they didn't use up all the time and they didn't get a good shot. That shot is off and in for number 23, Emily Price. So just like that, the Souderton Indians get a huge stop defensively and end up with a basket of their own at the other end. And let me break down that sequence for a minute. First, you had the sloppy inbound pass by the Eagles, and Wise was able to haul it in, and no real damage done, perhaps, because they had to use clock anyway. But did that disrupt the timing of whatever the Eagles drew up, whatever play they were calling? We don't know, but having Netta Wise take a foul line jump shot with about 8 seconds to go on the clock would not be considered the ideal thing for the Eagles to do there. Shot was no good, and on the other end, Emily Price with a great awareness of the clock. She could have forced something up, thinking that she had to get something off quick, but she kept her cool, realized where the clock was, got herself the best possible shot, took her time, at least as much as she could, and ended up putting it in. And just like that, it's a 6-point game. If the Eagles execute that sequence on the other end better, it's a 10-point game. So the Eagles come back out onto the floor with Stickler, Wise, Graham, Rose, and Harris. And Emily Price, who hit that buzzer beater just moments ago, handles, but now defers. It's now in the hand of Britton. Puts it up, doesn't get it, and it's out off of the Eagles. And I mean, now on top of it, Souderton gets the ball to start the fourth quarter. And boy, they can make it a 4-point game or even 3 if they get a 3. That's a long 2 though, and it's no good. And the rebound goes down to Netta Wise. 7 minutes, 37 seconds to go in the fourth and final quarter. Graham met defensively by Brittany Sandone. The Eagles just getting it across in time. You only have 8 seconds to get that ball across half court. The Eagles did it, just barely. And it's 43-37. They get it inside to Harris, who's been great. Draws the foul. Boy, she was excellent yesterday and picks up right where she left off. And again, the Eagles, well, both of these teams actually were in action 24 hours ago. So, I mean, there's got to be some kind of fatigue factor there because usually these games are on Tuesdays and Fridays, but a rare Wednesday game here today. In fact, the only Wednesday game of the season for this Eagles team. And Harris hits the free throw. So there might be some things going on with these teams and how they're functioning physically. But whatever it is, both teams have to deal with it. So I don't look for it to be too much of a factor. Of course, Norristown loves to run the floor. They love to use their athleticism in transition and in the pressure defense. So perhaps they might be affected a little more. Harris hits the free throw. It's 45-37 because Harris hit them both. And Britton brings it up. Here is Sandone going to the cup, not getting it, and it's pulled back in by the Eagles. With the 8-point lead, here comes Wise and the white jerseyed Eagles. Graham gets the layup to go. So the Eagles really responding well as that pass is deflected straight up, but the Indians get it right back, and Sarita Kanjid puts it in for 2. Boy, just an unlucky sequence there as the Eagles made a nice deflection, went straight up in the air, and ended up going right to Kanjid underneath the basket, who was able to get 2. Boy, Harris has just been tremendous for the Eagles, and Souderton has yet to really have a player that they could go to on offense and be confident that they could at least get off a good-looking attempt. Rose inside gets it to go. I mean, Souderton right now, they're putting up bad shots. They don't have somebody to go to and settle this thing down. It's all kind of snowballing on them right now, and they just continue to put up bad shots that aren't close to going in. That pass is thrown away. Liz Miller unable to reel in the pass, and that's a turnover. And turnovers have not killed the Souderton team, really, though. You saw one there, but it's just been bad shot selection and inability to hit those shots by Souderton, thanks in large part to great Eagles defense. Well, since the end of that third quarter sequence where the Eagles had possession with 22 seconds to go and ended up giving up 2 points and not getting any of their own, since that point, the Eagles have gone on a 6-2 run. It's not a huge run that's going to change the game, but well, it will change the game, though, because even though it's just a 4-point swing, 6-2, it came at such an opportune time for the Eagles, who had momentum against them, reversed that, and now they have the momentum. They have a 10-point lead, and there's just 6 minutes to go in the game. But now a steal by Brittany Sandone, who has only Graham to beat and beats her. And it's an 8-point game. And if the Eagles don't steal the momentum away from Souderton and Souderton ends up with that 6-2 run, then you're looking at a 2-point game. But instead, the Eagles make the run. And it was a 10-point game, and now 8. And now going to the line is Avery Britton. So I look at how the Eagles opened up this fourth quarter. I definitely think that it's a defining moment in this game for those reasons. Here is Britton shooting the free throw and missing it. Tasha Matthews and Cache Hinton come back into the game. Graham and Stickley take a seat. Hinton again playing with 3 fouls, and they had a bencher for that reason to avoid picking up a 4th. If I'm head coach Ashley Harrison, though, I respect her decision to pull Hinton from the game. But I would have put her back in earlier, as Matthews is fouled. There's only 5 minutes to go, and I mean, the Eagles played extremely well with her out of the game, but with the game being as close as it was, I think it's worth the risk to put her back in and hope she doesn't pick up 2 fouls in 8 minutes. 2 fouls in 8 minutes is a pretty high amount. And if you instruct Hinton to play smart and not foul, sure, that puts you at a disadvantage defensively, but I think it could have been done. Matthews shoots the free throw and misses it. It was 1-1 as Souderton is in the penalty. And because Matthews missed the first, she does not get a second, and Mower drives in all the way to the cup, and nobody stepped up defensively to stop Mower. And she gets 2. Harris busting through the full court pressure. Now they have a 2-on-1. Wise to Matthews. Gets it. Great play by Wise, who recognized the situation. It's easy for me to call it from up here and say that there's a 2-on-1 developing, but it's another thing to see it in-game on floor level. And Wise did a great job of it and made the wise pass. Cache Hinton brings it up. And they call a dribble violation on Hinton. That one, easy call. As Hinton attempting to get around Avery Britton defensively, ended up illegally dribbling the ball. 51-43, both of these teams playing very good offensively as Rose gets a block. Eagles defense was great for the first part of the game, but since then has slipped quite a bit. But their offense has certainly made up for it. 51 points, and they still got 4.5 minutes to go. And an 8-point lead. This pass to Rose, and now back to Wise. 51-43, 4.5 minutes to go, and that pass is out of bounds off of Sarita Kunjid. I'm Mark Kolanowski. You're watching NASD TV. Wise receives the inbound pass, puts it up with one hand. It's no good. The rebound to Kunjid. Here's Emily Price. Swinging it over to Mower. Gets it inside. This is Sandone getting it back out to Price, who doesn't get it. Matthews swipes away the board defensively. Now the Eagles, it's just 4 minutes to go in this game, have an 8-point lead, and they can start to slow down the game a little bit and try to protect this lead, but a bad pass by Hinton. If she would have picked it up, it would have been a backcourt violation, so she just lets it roll out of bounds, and Wise commits the turnover. Number 10, Monica Schmidt comes back into the game. We mentioned how important she is to the Souderton's team's success. She's really the star of this team, scoring 14 last game in their victory. But tonight, had that one stretch where she was dominating the offensive glass and getting easy baskets out of it, but hasn't been a huge factor since then. And that's a big reason why the Eagles have an 8-point lead. But that shot's up and no good by Sandone. And another rebound for Natasha Matthews. And here's Wise with 3.5 minutes to go. Still 51-43. Wise gets to Harris, another dangerous pass. Eagles just need to play smart and not turn the ball over from here on out and not have quick possessions that result in bad shots. Well, they turn it over, though, and Kundred blocked by Rose, but a hard foul. Kundred appears to be okay after taking what was a pretty good lick. Rose, just a good, clean, hard foul, preventing an easy layup. Nothing wrong with that. It is her third, but with just 3 minutes and change to go, it's probably not going to be a factor. Kundred puts up the first. It's good. Liz Mower back into the game to replace Monica Schmidt. 51-44 now with the Kundred free throw. And the second one's no good. What they call, I believe they call a lane violation. They do indeed. They say Natasha Matthews stepped into the lane before the shot was released by Kundred, so she gets to take it again. Actually, the rule is that you have to hold off stepping into the lane until the shot hits the rim. Matthews unable to refrain from doing that. But it doesn't matter because the retry was no good. 51-44, and the Eagles call timeout. 2:58 to go, 51-44. And again, from here on out, nothing fancy for the Eagles. Just avoid turnovers, avoid bad shots, wind some clock. 7-point lead. It's right on the border to me, because if you have a 10 or 12-point lead, you can really sit on that lead pretty easily and just work the clock. If you're up by, say, 4 or 5 or 6, you really can't do that. You got to try to extend your lead. You can't try to run out clock because 2 baskets and it's a tie game. But this is right on the border. 7-point lead for the Eagles. It'll be interesting to see how they play. Are they going to continue to be aggressive, or are they going to try to relax a little bit and sit on this 7-point lead? Hinton gets it to Rose. Gets it inside to Matthews, who puts it up. Doesn't get it. Or offensive rebound for Harris. And she puts it back up and in. Mercedes Harris. What a game last night. What a game tonight against 2 very strong opponents. Mower puts it up. Doesn't get it. The rebound for Mercedes Harris. The lead is 9, and it could be bigger. Harris slowing it up a little bit, and now Matthews at the top of the key just standing there with it. Now you got a 9-point lead with 2:19 to go. You can really start to wind clock. And that's a foul. Hinton down to the floor. Wanted the foul call earlier, but finally got it, as there was a lot of contact there. Well, the combined record of the 2 teams that Norristown played yesterday and today, that is Upper Marion and Souderton, combined record of 19-5. And if the Eagles hold on here, they'll have wins against the both of them. Hinton misses the first, so doesn't get a second on the 1-and-1. But Matthews gets an offensive rebound, puts it in, and I think should do it. It's 55-44 with 2 minutes to go, and Souderton needs a miracle to win this game. Liz Mower gets it out to Emily Price, and now it's put up by Avery Britton for three-point distance and missed. And boy, the way the Souderton Indians are playing right now is they intentionally fouled Brittany Rose. I don't even think they could muster up anything close to a miracle, which is what they'd need to get back in this. Minute 53 to go, 55-44, and another timeout. So the Eagles looking to hand Souderton just their third loss of the season. Last night they did that exact thing to Upper Merion as they try to rise up in the standings in the Suburban One League American Conference. Of course, the conference is being realigned over the summer, putting the Eagles in the American Conference with schools that are closer to them geographically. And the Eagles will come out and they'll shoot, I believe they'll shoot 2 free throws. I believe Brittany Rose gets 2 because we see 10 team fouls on Souderton. Brittany Rose puts it up. Not even close on the first free throw, but Brittany Rose indeed gets the second one because, again, double bonus time because Souderton is at 10 team fouls. The second one is left well short. Here's Jessica Bard, who goes to Britton, and Souderton has to start chucking up threes in a hurry. They call a timeout. They'll try to create something. If I'm Souderton head coach right now, I'm trying to draw up something to get some three-point attempts up because there's really not a whole lot they can do right now. Nicole Graham over the scorers table to check into the game so that when the Eagles break the huddle, she'll be in the game. Minute 46 to go in this one. The Eagles' next opponent will be here on Friday night against Springfield. Continue to check your listings on nasd.k12.pa.us for more Norristown basketball all season long. Well, the Eagles are playing a heck of a game here tonight. 55-44 lead with a minute and 3/4 to go in the game. Eagles trying to seal the deal. While the Eagles break the huddle with Graham, Wise, Rose, Harris, and Matthews. They got quite a bit of rebounding in there between Rose, Harris, and Matthews. We mentioned all the size that the Eagles have, and they have all those centers / power forwards that they could go to, even with Devin Blake being out of this game with an illness. Well, basket's good from Souderton, but too little too late. That pass is intercepted, and Liz Mower, though, was unable to stay in bounds. Cache Hinton comes back into the game. Nicole Graham takes a seat. I think they wanted Graham in the game for defense when the Eagles were down at the defensive end, but now that they're back offensively, they'll go with Hinton. I believe that's what that might be. Can't be certain. Rose saves it, but Souderton picks it up with Mower. Here is Avery Britton. The Souderton offense has been totally dormant so far in the 4th quarter, and really for most of the 3rd as well. They call a block on Rose, who questions the call. But she was backpedaling, so I agree with the call. And 2 free throws for Souderton. This is Liz Mower. Her first is good. It's 55-47. Just an 8-point game, but we're down to a minute 11 to go. And if the Eagles make some free throws, they'll put this game well out of reach. Matthews not being fouled. As the Souderton slow to failure, they got to get a steal if they're not going to foul. That's indeed what they'll go for. And in doing so, Brittany Sandone gets called for the foul. And when you're down like this, and you feel that instead of fouling, you want to go for a steal, you might as well try it and be aggressive with it. Because even if you get the foul, it's certainly not the worst case scenario at this point in the game. stops the clock, gets you the ball back. But the problem is when you have somebody like Netta Wise at the line making free throws, makes the lead just a little bit larger. Wise's second is up and no good, so she splits a pair, but she's had an excellent game. 57 seconds to go now. That pass just barely stays away from Wise, but she recovers, ran right by Liz Mower, and came up with that semi-loose ball. Mower was losing her dribble, maybe trying to get it back, but Wise put an end to that and just came and cleanly swiped it away after narrowly missing the steal before that. 46 seconds to go. 56-47 Norristown. And now it's Cache Hinton shooting two. Again, with Souderton being at 10 fouls, Eagles shoot 2 free throws on all fouls committed against them from here on out. In the high school game, at 6 free throws, you shoot 1 and 1 on all fouls. You shoot 2 free throws once the team gets to 10 fouls, and Hinton hits it, and it's 58-47. Here is Britton getting it to Sandone, who has to check up a 3. Rattles in, and it's 58-50. The Eagles take timeout. And Harrison just trying to figure out a way to close this game. But with an 8-point lead and 38 seconds to go, it shouldn't be too hard. Souderton and their coaches need to convince these girls that they still have some life so that they can attempt to pull off a miracle. And Norristown right now, one of the things they should be talking about in their huddle, and I'm sure they are, is what they're going to do when they're inbounding the ball or when they get a rebound, depending on if Souderton makes their shots or not. Because they should be doing everything in their power to get the ball to their best free throw shooter, whoever they feel that is. And that's just so important at this stage in the game. And if you're Souderton, you're going to try to be denying the ball to those excellent free throw shooters. I mean, I highlight Cache Hinton as a player that I'd watch for because she could definitely hit free throws at a respectable clip. And here are the Eagles inbounding. Let's see what they do. Harris is inbounding and gets it to Hinton. But she traveled. So you get the ball to your best ball handler and your best free throw shooter on the floor and end up with a traveling, go figure. But again, the Eagles drew it up well enough to get the ball to the free throw shooter that they wanted at the line. Hinton, that is. Souderton probably knew that the Eagles wanted to do that and were trying to deny it, but they were unable to get it done. That's just Harrison out-coaching Souderton's coach right there. And Mower ends up losing the ball, and Matthews gets it. If Souderton's smart, they foul Matthews. It's better to have her at the line than, say, Wise or Hinton. And Wise was nearly stripped, got it back, so no traveling because she was stripped. But the Eagles do ultimately turn it over, and Schmidt inside gets the easy layup. No one there defensively, and 58-52, but just 10.7 seconds to go. The Eagles will use another timeout, and not a bad decision here because you need to be smart with this inbound. Wise moving around a little gingerly over there on the Norristown bench. Now takes a seat. Might be a little banged up. We'll try to keep an eye on that, but with just 10 seconds to go, we probably won't know anything tonight. But it doesn't look to be anything serious at all. So again, we're in the same exact situation we were in moments ago. The Eagles want to get the ball to one of their best free throw shooters. The Souderton Indians know that and will try to be denying the pass to those free throw shooters. Again, watch for number 1, Cache Hinton. That's who the Eagles want to get the ball to shoot free throws. If it's not there, though, you have to be smart about it and say, okay, we'll put somebody else at the line in order to avert the risk of turning it over. So a lot of strategy goes into these inbounds in these intentional foul situations. Again, the Eagles all, lined up formation, so to speak. Harris has to inbound, gets it to Matthews, and is fouled by Brittany Sandone. And the teams will walk the length of the floor, and Matthews will shoot 2. Well, Matthews isn't one of those players that you, in the huddle, you say, we want to get the ball to her to shoot free throws. However, again, the most important thing is that you don't turn it over, and Matthews very capable of hitting 2 big free throws right here. The first is good. There it is. Graham will come into the game. Again, they like her on defense, obviously, as Wise limps over to the free throw area as she appears, again, to be a little banged up, but good enough to finish the game, so obviously nothing to worry about. And Matthews does indeed hit 2 big free throws. 60-52, 8 seconds to go. This is a 3 by Kundred. It's no good. They get a rebound, though. Mower puts it in. And the final score will be a lot closer than the game actually was because Souderton got some meaningless baskets at the end. But it's 60-54. The Eagles of Norristown topping the Indians of Souderton in girls varsity basketball tonight on NASD TV. For our entire NASD TV crew, I'm Mark Holodinsky saying join us next time for more Norristown basketball later on. But for now, see you next time.